Hello, Aries. Welcome to Soul Good. I'm Amber Marie, and this is your 2023 Tarotscope. If you're curious about the decks that I'm using today, you can find a list of them in the description box below. You can also find links to my social media accounts, as well as links to information on personal readings and the Soul Good membership channel on Telegram. There will also be a timestamp in the description box if you would like to skip ahead to the beginning of the reading. I would also like to remind you before we jump in that this is a general reading, not a personal reading, so please only take what resonates with you and leave the rest. Let's jump in, Aries, and see what 2023 has in store for you. Please, Father, Mother, Life, Universe, Spirits, Guides, Angels, our cosmic team, our ancestors, our higher selves, tell us about the theme for 2023 for Aries, please. What is the theme for 2023 for Aries? Tell us about the theme for Aries for 2023, please. What is, thank you. Okay, so interesting. You have 3 cards here. What is a shift or epiphany that will take place for Aries in 2023? What is a shift that will take place for Aries, or an epiphany that they will have in 2023? What is a shift or, thank you, yep, that's the one. What is your biggest asset in 2023, Aries? Okay, thank you. And what do you have an opportunity to learn? What does Aries have an opportunity to learn in 2023? What does Aries have an opportunity to learn in 2023, please? Thank you. What does your soul want you to know for 2023? Thank you. What does God, Source, Universe, whatever you refer to it as, want you to know for 2023, Aries? What does God, thank you. And a blessing that you'll have an opportunity to receive. What is the blessing that Aries will have an opportunity to receive in 2023? What is the blessing? Thank you. Okay, let's get some clarity. Tell us more about Aries' theme for 2023. Thank you. Tell us more about a shift or an epiphany that will take place for Aries in 2023, please. Thank you. Tell us more about Aries' biggest asset. All right. Tell us more about what Aries will have an opportunity to learn. Thank you. Tell us more about what Aries' soul wants them to know for 2023. Tell us more about what Aries' soul wants them to know for 2023. Oh, Lord. Let's try that again. Tell us more about what Aries' soul wants them to know for 2023. Nice, clear message, please. What does Aries' soul want them to know? Okay, thank you. What does God, Source, Universe want you to know? Tell us more about that for Aries, please. Okay. And tell us more about the blessing that Aries will have the opportunity to receive. Tell us more about the blessing that Aries will have the opportunity to receive in 2023, please. Okay, thank you. All right, Aries, let's jump in and see. All right, so the theme for you for 2023, Aries, is okay. So we do have Imagine showing up here first, which is interesting. And I want to say, if you're watching this before we're already in 2023, okay? So if you're watching this in 2022, I feel like there's a message here for you to actually visualize, right? To actually imagine in order to manifest what you would like to experience for 2023. I feel like there is a power of intention here, okay? And maybe some of you watching this in 2022 are going to be like, yeah, okay, whatever, and you'll ignore it, and that's fine, okay? But for others of you, it may be speaking to you. Maybe you've been seeing things about this already. Law of attraction, creating your own reality, manifesting, those sorts of things. You may have already been seeing things in regards to that as already, like visualizing, right? And that would likely be a sign for you, like an additional sign that this is something that could benefit you moving into 2023. For others of you, I feel like the theme for you for 2023 is to essentially break free from the limitations. Imagine all the possibilities. Imagine all of the things you could do if you didn't feel like you had something holding you back, if you didn't feel like you weren't smart enough, or didn't have enough money, or don't know enough, or haven't had enough experience, or whatever the story is, right? What could you do if you didn't have anything holding you back at all, right? I feel like 2023 for you is going to be one of those years where you're exploring what's possible. I also feel like for some of you, you could be getting in your dreams or your daydreams, even visions of things, right? And depending on how this resonates with you, you may see them as being like prophetic, right? You may see them as being a guide, if you will, to try to lead you to a certain space, to create an opportunity for something to occur, right? But I do feel like there's definitely something here to be playing around with as far as being intentional and imagining what you can do without the limitations, okay? Um, this card, the Imagine card, is the number 20, so that number might be important for some of you throughout this year, okay? Just throwing it out there. We also have Breathe. This is the number 29, and again, that number may be important for some of you this year. So with this Breathe card, Aries, I feel like another theme for you throughout this year is for you to actually breathe. And the way that I'm experiencing this energy, or it's showing up for me, is if you were to, you know how in cartoons, um, likely the older ones, right? You might resonate with this with the older cartoons, where the character gets frustrated or angry or upset, and their face turns all red and like smoke starts coming out of their ears or their nose, or, you know, they're huffing and puffing or something like that. I'm seeing it in that way. So I feel like this breathe for you, Aries, throughout 2023, I feel like a theme is going to be you actually harnessing the ability to pause and breathe before you get to that state where you are like flush red and the smoke is coming out your ears and your nose, and you're stomping your feet and you're clenching your fists, right? That's how I'm seeing this. I'm seeing this as something that's going to be coming up for you in 2023 is likely being put in situations where you're given the opportunity to really have that control, to really not allow other people or external circumstances to knock you off of your axis, right? To take you from one way of being to another, right? Things that aren't going to, how do I word this? It's like it's not going to allow you to get to that point, right? Or rather, practicing that. Okay. I feel like for many of you, it's the ability to just take a step back and breathe. Okay. If you don't relate or resonate with this kind of anger or frustration that may tend to get the best of you from time to time, I feel like this could be more of a slow down, Aries. Take time to breathe. You don't have to do everything and be everything, right? And it's interesting because the way that I'm seeing this, Aries, right, in the tarot, you are represented by the emperor, and the emperor is essentially the father, the archetype of the father, which is going to be someone who wants to provide everything, right? Who wants to bring prosperity and abundance, who wants to care for all the things or make sure that all of the things are taken care of. And so I do feel like if you don't resonate with the anger and frustration, then perhaps this is the message for you for 2023, to be slowing down and taking that time to breathe. Okay? We also have for you here Between Worlds. This is the number 3, so that could be important for you as well, or for some of you maybe. This Between Worlds, I do feel like you're in a transitionary state, Aries. It feels to me like you're growing. I'm actually seeing it like a little plant coming out of the ground with, like, the main oh my gosh, stem, and then like 2 little leaves sprouting off the edges, or off each side. And so I do feel like you're growing right now, Aries. I feel like 2022 for you may have provided you with the opportunity to learn a lot about yourself and to see yourself from various different perspectives. And I feel like you're in this in between state. So I feel like things may feel foreign to you, right? Because it's interesting how it's being shown to me, Aries. I'm actually being shown this as if I'm in like an Asian speaking marketplace, okay? Maybe Chinese or Japanese or something like that, where I don't know or understand the language. And everybody's talking, but I have no idea what they're saying. Right? And it's being shown to me in that way because it's like, I feel like you've stepped into a new world where you don't yet know the language. Right? So I feel like you're trying to like feel your way through things and figure things out. Okay, it feels like 2023 for you may feel like that, may feel like you're in a sea of people and have no idea what the hell anybody's saying. Okay, and it may feel very foreign to you. You may feel like you're in this like limbo state, right? But know that you're in a state of transition. Know that this is for you. Okay, with the tarot, yes, this is beautiful. Beautiful, Aries. You have the High Priestess. And why this is so beautiful is because essentially, well, we have this imagine, right? We have that breathe. And those two things for me stand out significantly with this High Priestess, because the High Priestess is that intuition, it's that inner voice, it's that divine truth and wisdom, right? And with the imagine, it's like, use your intuition, use that inner voice to create from that space of truth, right? And then you have this breathe, which speaks in relation for me with the High Priestess of this wisdom of knowing yourself, being able to breathe through situations, maintain that self control, having that wisdom within you to be able to navigate situations. Both beings in these cards have their eyes closed. They're in a state of peace, or at the very least balance and harmony, right? In order to be relaxed enough to close their eyes. And I feel like there's a big thing here with you, or for you rather, Aries, within these themes that are showing up for you for 2023, of listening to your intuition and following what you feel within your being to be your truth. Okay, this is not the things that come from your ego, which talk about you're not good enough, someone else is not good enough, someone else is to blame, you're the victim. None of those things. This is from truth. Okay, from your soul truth. I feel like there's a big message here, I feel, for you, Aries, to be navigating this space that you could find yourself in 2023, where you feel like you're in a foreign place, and using your intuition, right? Helping to guide you and lead you where you need to go, right? So that you are able to understand the world that you're a part of or that you've stepped into. So fascinating to me. I feel like you guys are really growing. I feel like you are likely to have some significant epiphanies or shifts. Let's see what those look like. You have to be fair here in this space where we're talking about a shift or epiphany that might take place this year. Okay. And with this, to be fair, I mean, it is bringing in, justice vibes, right? Things being in balance, things being harmonious. So you could find yourself being more balanced in 2023, right? Feeling more harmonious. You could also find yourself, for whatever reason, I'm getting this energy of being more fair in the sense of being compassionate towards other people and their truths, right? Being very open to what others experience as truth and understanding that it could look significantly different from yours. Okay. And that's a huge, huge shift to be taking place, right? When we open up to that compassion, when we open up to being fair to other people and what their truth is, honoring that, it does create tremendous shift within our reality. It really, really does. What do we have with the tarot? Interesting. We have the Magician in the reverse, clarifying here. The Magician in the reverse is this energy of often like deception or being cunning, right? Um, Trickery is another way of putting it. Or it can also mean, because in the upright, the magician basically has everything he needs to create what he wants to create his universe, his reality, right? And the reverse, I mean, it feels to me like many of you might relate more or resonate more with not feeling like you have everything you need, right? So for some of you, maybe you felt like life hasn't been very fair, that you haven't had access to everything that you need. And that could be a big shift or epiphany that's taking place. Because what was I saying? Right? That being fair, that shift could be taking place where it's no longer um, this person did this to me and I'm the victim and they're to blame and, the world is bad and that sort of thing. Right? It's becoming more compassionate and understanding to the truth of everyone. Okay? So it's really interesting to me. I feel like some of you may have felt like life has been unfair. And again, I feel like this shift or epiphany that could be coming in could be because I feel like maybe you felt like you didn't have all of the tools you need, or maybe weren't able to access them or something. I also feel like for some of you, if you've felt like you've been deceived prior to 2023, in 2023, you could essentially experience an epiphany where that's revealed, where the deception is revealed, right? Because I'm getting heavy justice vibes here. And I got the word betrayal, right? So I feel like for some, it could be this exposure, if you will, right? The balancing of the scales, karma, cause and effect, as it were. What are your biggest assets for 2023? You have no place like home. So I think what you're going to find, Aries, is that there's no better place to be than who you are. And I know that may sound weird, right? But there are many people who have experienced putting who they are in someone else, in a spouse, in their children, in their parents, in a job, right? And they will dump all of their value into those things and will fail to see the value that they have within themselves. And for me, this is how this energy is showing up, Aries. It feels to me like your biggest asset through 2023 is discovering that there's no place like home. There's no place that's more peaceful or comfortable or nurturing than within who you are, within what your truth is, what makes you feel like you're at home, right? And part of what I mean by that is, you know how you have some people that you can be around and you feel free. You don't feel like you have to hide anything or filter anything or nothing. You can just be exactly who you are and it feels like home. Many of us find that in other people, but we struggle to find it within ourselves. And I feel like, again, for 2023, for you, it's your ability to see that within yourself, right? I think that's going to be a huge asset, to find that peace, that comfort, that stability, that strength within you, right? With it not being something outside of yourself. Another of your biggest assets is, okay, being ready for, you have poised here, right? And this is like the card of like being ready for whatever's to come, right? Ready to take the leap when the opportunity presents itself, right? So I would say to you, Aries, one of your biggest assets in 2023 is being able to expect the unexpected, leaping when God, universe, source says leap, right? I think that's going to be a huge asset for you. Imagine the possibilities if you're just ready for anything. And if God says leap, you're like, okay, here we go. I don't know what the heck's coming next, but we're going, right? See what the tarot has to say in regards to these. Oh, by the way, let me just add in some of these other dates or numbers with these cards that we have here. So you do have 38, 50, and 48 out. Those numbers could be important to you. They could be ages, they could be addresses, things like this, favorite numbers, lucky numbers, what have you. And I just want to share that with you. So what does the tarot have to clarify? Yeah, what was I saying, right? We have no place like home and poised. Now coming out in the tarot, the strength card. So what was I saying, right? It's going to be knowing that that strength is within you, right? Being ready. And here's the thing about the strength card. It's about courage. Being ready and having the courage to take those leaps. This is going to be your biggest strength in 2023, Aries. And this strength card here, again, it's about courage, it's about conviction, it's about being compassionate, which we've already touched on as well, right? And this is that it's a quiet strength, Aries. It's not a brute physical, strength. It's not one you would use your fists for or your body for, right? This is a quiet strength. This is a strength that comes from deep within you, one that comes from your connection to something bigger, right? Maybe it's God, maybe it's source, maybe it's angels, maybe it's your higher self, maybe it's just you knowing that there's more out there, right? But this is going to be one of your biggest assets in 2023, is having the strength and seeing the strength within yourself to know that you're able to carry and hold yourself up. Look at this. I'm just going to talk about the symbolism here because there's just this one stalk that's holding this house. That's it. It's not two stalks. It's not four stalks. It's not a family of trees, right? It's one. Similarly, there's one pillar here. Okay? So it's that strength that you have within yourself to stay balanced and to stay courageous within yourself, to be willing to take those leaps when they're shown to you, right? That's what the strength is about. It's going to be a huge asset for you. Next in the tarot, we have the Page of Swords. Another asset for you is being curious, keeping an open mind with this Page of Swords, right? Being willing to learn and experience new things, to take in new knowledge, right? Again, and being curious, being willing to explore, right? There is this feeling here of you could find yourself being anxious. nervous about taking these first steps. Allow your curiosity to overwhelm the nervousness and anxiousness. Dive into that inner strength and allow it to help you to keep moving forward. Allow that to be what pushes you, right? That's going to be a huge strength of yours. Again, is remaining curious, keeping an open mind, being willing to learn new things, and continuing to step forward, even if you find yourself nervous or anxious or anything of the like nature, right? You have the Two of Cups here in the reverse, okay? And what's interesting about this, first of all, is that the Two of Cups in the upright is often a card of unity, partnership, and connection. Aries, I just want to say to you, I'm getting heavy vibes here of your biggest asset is going to be relying on yourself. Typically, this card would be looked at as being uh, or symbolizing tension, imbalance, broken communication, right? That sort of thing, disconnection. But for you in this case, Aries, intuitively speaking, I'm really getting this energy of it just being that you're meant to be relying on yourself right now. You're meant to be looking within. You're meant to be exploring those options. See, oh yes, thank you, Lord. And seeking why there's this imbalance within you, right? You have the to be fair here. This talks about balance. There are literally scales, okay? The Two of Cups in the reverse talks about imbalance. So I do feel like it's about going inward, figuring out where that imbalance is, right? Figuring out what it is that, like, I'm really getting this tension. What has kept you tense, Aries, right? And this is going to have something to do with emotions, feelings, potentially, maybe spirituality or intuition, potentially love or relationships. That's what the cups are, your feelings, right? There may be things you've been holding on to that you haven't allowed yourself to release or be rid of, okay? But I feel like the biggest asset here is you going within, relying on what you feel to be true, okay? Not finding that strength in other people. It does feel like, again, your biggest asset for 2023 is being curious about what it's really, it kind of feels like being curious about what you're capable of, right? Like discovering that essentially you are your biggest asset, Aries. So, what do you have an opportunity to learn, right? And this might be something that's challenging or difficult. Wow. Okay. So, the way that I wrote this down when I was creating this spread was that it might be challenging or difficult to face. And what I meant by face was like accept, right? Whether that be something good, bad, or anything in between. This is the number 22. Okay. So, that might be important to you. And this is blessed. So for some of you, what you have an opportunity to learn and something that may be challenging or difficult to accept is that you are blessed. Regardless of whatever trials, triumphs, horrors you've experienced in your life, you are blessed. You are here watching this, right? You are breathing, living. You still clearly have purpose here, right? And I feel like 2023 for you could really open your eyes to how blessed you truly are. That maybe that comes in the form of receiving blessings. But more than anything, for most of you Aries, I feel like this is about seeing how blessed you truly are. Like really, really, really seeing it. Yeah, yeah. Because here you have the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Swords is anxiety, hopelessness, trauma, and it's nightmares. It's things keeping you up at night. It's insomnia. It's just feeling like there's no end in sight to the nightmare that you're experiencing. So again, you have an opportunity to see how blessed you truly are. And that may be very difficult, because I want to lovingly say that it took me quite a while to be able to accept and acknowledge that things that were very traumatic to me, that hurt me physically, mentally, emotionally, were blessings. Okay? That doesn't mean that you have to like them or love them, right? But seeing them as blessings, seeing what you have learned from those experiences, or what you had the opportunity to learn, even if you didn't learn it in that moment and have learned it since, right? Again, it could be a challenge for you to see that your life has been a blessing, and that what you've experienced through 2023 is also a blessing, right? It may be difficult to do that, but it's because you've been seeing it from a perspective of it being a nightmare, of things not, not going the way they should, or experiencing anxiety and hopelessness, right? Like, it's the opportunity for you to learn. Essentially, I want to lovingly say, Aries, is that you create your reality. And if you believe you're blessed and you start to seek things in your life to show you that you're blessed, that is what you will experience. Your brain, you create neural pathways that will seek that out, right? But if you are living in life as a nightmare, this is hopeless, it's never going to get better, that is what you create. And I feel like this is an opportunity through 2023 that you have to learn that. What does your soul want you to know for 2023, Aries? Ooh, you have exchanging gifts, Aries. That's exciting to me, because here's why. I feel like your soul, your higher self, however you want to see it, right, is going to be assisting you in the sense of bringing to you wisdom, right? Which is why I feel this high priestess is so focal, right? It's the focal point of the reading. We're looking at the theme for 2023, and any number of cards could have come out, but there's one, and it's that high priestess. And we're asking what your soul wants you to know. So I feel like as you become more and more in touch with your intuition, right, the more you trust yourself to follow that inner voice, I feel like the more wisdom you're going to have access to. Your higher self is going to be able to communicate with you and expand on your consciousness. And these are the gifts I feel like you're exchanging, right? And it's interesting because once you start aligning internally, oftentimes your physical world does the same, right? Gifts will start to seemingly show up out of nowhere, right? And I feel like what's taking place here for you, Aries, is even if it doesn't start to manifest in your physical reality in 2023, if you are open to it throughout the year, to communicating with your intuition, to imagining what is possible, to allowing yourself to venture and walk in between worlds, because now I'm seeing this as well as like you being able to see between worlds, right? See between the world that we live in, that we touch, we know, and the one that we can't touch, that we can't see, but you may have access via that sight, that third eye, as it were, right? And this might be, again, this might be something where you're getting those gifts, being able to see what others may not, getting access to that wisdom. And I feel like this is what your soul wants you to know. This is also the number 27, which may be important to you. Ooh, here you have the Page of Wands. And this is what's fascinating about this, Aries. I feel like your soul wants you to know, like, hey, you may be getting access to some gifts from your higher self, that you may not have had access to before. Okay? The Page of Wands in the upright is an energy of like excitement, exploration, freedom. I feel like some of these gifts could be freeing you from outdated ways of thinking, outdated ways of, what is the word? It's like outdated ways of experiencing energy. I don't even know if that makes sense. Maybe it will for whoever it resonates with, okay? But it kind of feels to me like there's this element of, for some of you, again, the gift is being able to have access to these things that maybe you didn't before. And I want to apologize just briefly. I do apologize. We're in the middle of a blizzard, a snowstorm craziness. And so they are doing a bunch of plowing and things like this. So I do apologize for the noise. It's also very windy. Um, but let's carry on, Aries. So I feel like this exchanging gifts, right, is your soul saying, hey, there's things that I could be dropping into your reality. And they could be things that maybe you feel like conflicted about. You maybe aren't sure of the direction you should take when you receive those things, right? Maybe they're prophetic in nature. Maybe they're answers to questions you've been asking. Maybe it's, again, the ability to see between worlds, right? And maybe you're like, I don't know what to do with this. I feel like your soul wants you to know, like, yes, you're likely to be receiving these gifts. Don't fear them, right? Don't let them put you in a box, because I do feel like there will be people who will challenge you, right? Bring about this conflict, if you will. Okay. And don't let it slow you down, right? Don't, like, be excited about it, right? See it as an adventure. And some of these things could be setting you free from, again, like old outdated ways of thinking, being, right? These could be downloads that you receive, epiphanies, things like this. But I do feel like your soul is working with you through 2023 and is encouraging you to remain excited, right? Don't let these gifts that you may be receiving create conflict within you. It's not what their intention is for, right? Don't allow these things that are coming in to box you in, right? For some people, when they start experiencing spiritual gifts, they'll just shut down. And then what they do is they block their blessings, right? So I feel like there's encouragement here from Spirit to refrain, if you're able, from doing that, and to instead look at the gifts that come in as um, freedom from an old outdated way of thinking that may have caused you fear in the past, but additionally and more prominently, to allow it to create excitement, exploration, curiosity within you. What does God, Source, Universe want you to know for 2023? Thinker, the number 44. What I get here, first of all, I feel like there's an energy here, Aries, of like, I'm I'm saying this with so much love, but I feel like for some of you, God is actually calling you out as like an overthinker, right? For some of you. That may not resonate with everybody, but I feel like for some of you, God's like, yeah, you kind of think too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, you think about it too much. You think about things way too much, right? And that could be where this anxiety plays a part as well, right? Because that's what this is. It's anxiety. It's feeling like you're in this nightmare, right? And swords is that mental energy. So I feel like this could be, being kind of, calling you out a bit. However, for many of you, I do feel like this is more related to the power that your thoughts have. I feel like this is what God's trying to say. Your thoughts have power. The intention and energy that you put into the thoughts that you have power, and they do manifest. They will find their way back to you at some point. And I feel like this is what you're being shown. This is what God is saying to you, so that you have the opportunity, Aries, through 2023 to be intentional with the thoughts you're sitting in, the energy you're sitting in. And the funny thing about the number 4 is that it is about manifestation. It's also about foundations. So what do you want to build upon, Aries? Are you going to sit and think about things that give you anxiety? What has anxiety ever done for you? Nothing good, surely, right? So it's, what do you want to build upon? What's the foundation that you want to set? What do you want to bring into your reality? Be intentional about your thoughts. Ooh, yes. And you have the Lovers here, Aries, with what does God want you to know, first of all. For those of you who don't know, the Lovers card was originally or previously the Choices card. And I do feel like God is telling you, you have choices to make here, especially in regards to your thoughts. For some of you, there's something here, and this is for very few, I feel. You've been thinking about a relationship, okay? Some sort of connection, could be romantic, but it does not have to be, okay? And I think for some of you, I don't know what it is, but like if you've been thinking about a relationship, okay, and you've been dwelling on something about it a lot, right? I feel like this could be a sign for you, right? Maybe this is your person. Maybe there's a connection there, right? Maybe you are destined, as it were, to be in union, okay? I don't feel like that's going to relate or resonate with everybody. And I don't feel like it's for everybody either. But I feel like for some that could be possible. For most, I feel like what God wants you to know, Aries, is that you have choices to make in the thoughts that you're choosing to think, right? And what you want to create with that. And here's the thing, it's so fascinating to me because this feels so much less about relationships with people or lovers or things like that and love. It feels so much more about the choices that we make and coming into union with those choices, right? So for example, like I was just saying, your thoughts and the energy that's behind them manifest into your reality. So your thoughts come into union with the physical world eventually. And it's this energy, Aries, of choosing what you want to bring into the world. Okay? And again, for some of you, I feel like, and very few, that you could have been thinking about a person, a relationship, whether or not that person is for you. And I feel like you need to make a choice. And they could be for you. You will know. Listen to your intuition, your soul. Your soul knows what's best for you. Pray about it. And if you still feel like you're not confident in the message you receive, pray about it again. Meditate on it. Right? Do whatever you need to do. But I do feel like you need to make a choice. And finally, a blessing that you'll have the opportunity to receive in 2023, Aries. You have the number 19, flexible. So I feel like a blessing that you'll have an opportunity to receive this year, Aries, is the blessing of being flexible, of being, adaptable to situations, which is fascinating, right? Because as you're represented in the tarot by the Emperor, one of the things that shows up there is that structure, right? And another thing is what am I thinking? It's kind of like this structured, kind of demanding, like authoritative, sometimes controlling type of energy. And I feel like the blessing you'll be receiving is the ability to navigate that with much more ease and to be more flexible. Okay? To be able to, yeah, it really does feel like instead of being like a tree that would be rigid in the wind and just snap and break off, right? And I'm thinking of this of breaking off as like losing your temper, flying off the handle, whatever it is. You're able to bend, right? And so you're not just ticked off 0 to 100 real quick. Like I have an Aries sun who I absolutely adore, but something about him is he's 0 to 100 real quick. Like he's my Sour Patch Kid, literally, right? And I feel like this is the blessing that you will have the opportunity to learn or receive from what you learn in 2023 is that ability to not go 0 to 100 in like 0.06, okay? But to be more flexible. You have yin as well, Aries. So this is a blessing. For some of you, you could be receiving the blessing in the form of like, and I don't know why I'm getting this, but like a daughter. Some of you may be blessed with a daughter in 2023. This is the number 2 card for you, if you were wondering, or could be important to you, right? And here's what's fascinating, Aries. You are a masculine energy. That's typical Aries energy is masculine, right? And you have this feminine energy with the yin card showing up. And so I feel like the blessing is, I feel like you're going to be able to be in your feelings, right? You could find yourself being able to be in your feelings with ease, allowing that to happen. Okay. I feel like, and these are all, what's interesting about this is these are all feminine traits, right? Allowing things to happen, being able to be in a feeling state of being, right? Being tender, being compassionate. These are all these sorts of energies, and they've showed up for you already in the reading. So I think it's fascinating that it's continuing to do so. I am going to read from the book here for you, Aries. I feel like there could be something in here for someone, or something that we can add to this space of the reading. We're going to be looking at the oracle message, okay? Or, well, no. Let's read the prosperity message, I feel. Okay. So it says, this is the feminine principle of receptivity, okay? Letting someone else make the first move, gathering information and taking in cues, and the art of conscious allowing. You can't make this stuff up, Aries. You really can't. And it doesn't matter, I want to lovingly say, whether you're male or female, gendered, does not matter. Okay, so if you're thinking it does, it doesn't. This is still, we hold both energies, feminine and masculine. We typically have one that's more dominant, right? For Aries, it's typically masculine energy. Aries is a masculine energy, right? So you likely would find yourself gravitating more towards that energy, depending on other placements you have, of course, and varying factors. But it's likely that you're more masculine dominant. You have this balance showing up here, right? More than once. And I feel like this is what's going on with this yin card or this feminine card showing up. Okay, whether you're male or female. Let's talk about this prosperity message because we're looking at it as a blessing. It says, this is a time when the most effective action is to allow others to show you the way forward. Observe their behavior and follow their lead. Your desire to push through must take a back seat for now. Collaborate and offer your ideas rather than dictating what must happen. Let others come to you. It's important that they feel they have the power now. Another meaning is about releasing your need to have things in the form you want. How do you want to feel? Basking in your success? Now allow the universe to show you the form. Yin is the sign of essence. Things may go more smoothly than you expect, right? So again, being flexible, right? It's about being flexible, Aries. And again, allowing, right? That was the key word, allowing. And it's about as well, right? This energy, like I was saying, of essentially collaborating with other people, which is very much similar to this Lover's card because the 6 does represent union or harmony. Okay. I just, and this is, and again, we had this energy here of you essentially leaning on yourself or recognizing that you have the strength within yourself, right? And letting other people come to you. This is so fascinating to me. What does the tarot say here for you? Wow, a blessing you'll have the opportunity to receive. You have the judgment in reverse. So this is fascinating. I feel like if you allow yourself this flexibility, okay, if you allow yourself this compassion, if you allow yourself to observe, right, I feel like the blessing that you're going to receive from that is being able to move out of this energy of doubt that you have or could have been experiencing, moving out of this energy of self loathing for some of you that you may have been experiencing, right? Feeling like you don't have everything you need, feeling like you're not enough, moving out of that space of feeling like you lack self awareness. I feel like this is the blessing that's coming in, or you have the opportunity to receive. And when you think of lack of self awareness, for me, it's like not being able to discern your feelings, right? Not being able to um, make judgment calls, right? On what is the best course of action, one that is most good for everyone, not just you, but for everyone, right? So I think this is an incredible, incredible blessing for you to be receiving, Aries, in 2023. And I feel like it could create tremendous growth for you and bring balance and a sense of peace, or at least this feeling of like serenity to your reality. I hope that something here has resonated for you. If it has, please do the YouTube things by liking, sharing, or smashing that subscribe button. It really does help the channel to grow. It tells YouTube that there may be something here for someone else to see, and then they push it out to more viewers. So I really do appreciate that so much. Thank you for sharing your time and energy with me. I truly am so very grateful for you. As always, it's been an incredible pleasure to read for you. I hope that your 2023 is filled with abundant and beautiful blessings. Take care of your incredible, magnificent soul, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.